Hello, everyone. Hello, guys. Welcome to another fantastic Friday. And we all know what happens every Friday. There is a Get Into Tech session. Now, welcome to another wonderful session. Um, the way I feel, the vibes I feel, this is going to be the best session ever, right? Welcome to the software development session in the ongoing Get Into Tech initiative. What is the Get Into Tech initiative? The Get Into Tech initiative is designed to help you get the much needed knowledge, clarity, and roadmap. Now, take note of those three words: knowledge, clarity, and roadmap. That would help you break into any of 12 select top career paths in tech, right? And this is the seventh session, right? Meaning that we have gone through six sessions before now. And so if this is the first time you are, hearing about the Get Into Tech program, or first time you are, joining any of the sessions, you have six sessions that would actually greatly impact you and change your life to watch in the channel, right? So after this session, you can just go down and to check them out. We've had sessions on UI UX design, on blockchain technology, on web development, on digital marketing, and a couple of them I can't remember now, right? So just go in and try to check. So welcome to this session. Today is today's goal basically is to help you start that much needed career in software development. Today's session is session. The goal for today's session is to help you become a developer, right? And we have an awesome expert, whom it's a privilege, pleasure to host on today's session, in person of Yetunde Sanni, right? She's going to be speaking shortly. But guys, you know what we like to do? So I'd like to know where you are joining us from. Where are you joining us from? Put it in the comments. Lagos, Nigeria, Accra, Ghana. Yeah, we're big like that. China, Russia, right? Australia or something, right? Let me know in the comments where you're joining in from, right? I'd like to know where you're joining us from tonight. And do not forget, as the session goes on, please drop your comments. The things you learn, the insight you get, drop your comment. And of course, don't forget that we will take questions, later on in the session. Right. So once again, like I said, it's really great to have Yetunde Sanni on. Yetunde, it's good to have you on. It's a pleasure to host you. And welcome to today's Get Into Tech session. Now, Yetunde has had a very, very awesome career in software development, and beyond that, currently she's in data science, machine learning, AI, and all that. And she's had a really good career. She's worked with top organizations around the world, in Nigeria and outside Nigeria, basically to help others learn how to code, help others build innovative careers in software development. And she has a passion right now, which is ensuring that more women get into tech. So if you're a woman on this session, I hope that you get inspired. Yetunde, it's good to have you on.
Thank you very much, Glory. I hope you can hear me clearly.
Yes, very clear, loud and clear.
Thank you for the introduction. And I must say that this is really wonderful. Like, I didn't even know that something like this exists, if not because I was invited here. So, well done. Hello, everyone. It's lovely to meet you all. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. Now, so we should get right into it. You have the floor. As you already know, basically, we have a lot of newbies, novices, right, who want to become developers but do not know how to do that. Like, I think that the first issue they have to deal with is the information overload online. So if you just Google how to become a developer in 6 months or 1 year, you're going to be met with like a million results. So there's so many things pulling at you, but then you have the experience. You've worked at Andela, you've led software development teams, working on projects for clients in the Europe and the US and all that. So please, you have the floor. How can anyone become a developer? How can they learn? Just just you have the floor.
Okay, because I'm looking at the schedule,
Okay.
where I'm supposed to start with my journey and
Okay.
the software development space and tips for newbie to start. So, yeah, I'm just going to maybe talk a bit about my journey, and then we'll start, dissecting some things that we need to look
That's
further
fine.
into. All right. Okay. I would say first of all, get a journal or get a jotter, whatever you use to like take notes, please do that because I think it's kind of very necessary to when you hear when you want to learn. It's just good for you to um, how do I put it now? Put the things that you're learning in notes because you can always refer to it. So I will start with my journey. I was exposed to. I'll try. It's kind of long, but I'll try to make it very short. So I was exposed to computer at age 10, and that was the days of disket and Windows 98 and all of those very old school stuffs that we don't see now. And at that period, I didn't even know much about the computer and all of those things, but I was exposed to it at that age, and somehow I just knew that I was attracted to this computer. It just fancied me like how it works, how I can play games with it, use Encounter, use like I was even doing like type. At that time, I was trying to train myself to type without looking at the keyboard, and I was just attracted to it. So I was when by the time I finished my high school, like secondary school, of course, back in Nigeria, I knew that what I was going to do was going to be computer science related. So I went into computer science. So I did my bachelor's in computer science at University of Ilorin. And during that time, I almost gave up on the computer science world because we know, like in Nigeria, it's usually like la cram la poor, nobody is really telling you the practical application of things. So it was just hard. And that time, even the programming languages we were doing, there was Fortran, COBOL, and those, C. I'm not saying those are useless now, but it was just very archaic and so out of touch. And I was already losing interest at my third until my third year, where I saw this series titled "Person of Interest" by this computer science professor. So it was a movie that was kind of how do I put it now? It was supposed to portray the September 11 bomb in the US, where the US government wanted to they wanted to be able to predict the act of terrorism before its occurrence. So they employed this computer science professor to build this machine that had access to people computer, to people emails, etc. Like the things you see now. And this was like 2010, 2011. No, so the things we see now where there are cameras, there's computer vision. Back then, like that was what I was seeing in the movies, and it was so intriguing for me. Like, wow! And the pieces of the computer science courses that I had taken in the university prior to then started making sense. Like I started seeing, okay, this is where programming comes into place. This is where computer vision come into place, etc, and all of that. So it started making sense to me how AI could actually play a big role because this machine, when a terrorist attack was supposed to occur, it just sent information to the government for them to go and stop it before its occurrence. So I was like, okay, this looks like computer science was not a bad choice because that just got me very interested in what AI and everything was about. So I started to pick up, how to learn programming. Then we didn't have many online resources. I don't know if okay. I think I don't know. Okay, let me just continue because I saw like there was this maybe my internet went off. All right, so that was how I started looking into AI. How do I get into AI? What do I need to do? And then there were no like online resources. I didn't have a mentor. There was nobody to really guide me, and I was just going into books until my service year, where I was fortunate to work with an landmark university, and I was at the IT department. So I was exposed to programming and all of those things at that point. And let me say here, because I feel like I don't know who the audience have, but I believe like we have people here. So I'm just going to say that before I went into programming, even during my service year, I was so scared because even from the movies, you know how they portray like you just see some bad guy, like some serious looking guy behind the computer and they're like they're just going on. So I felt like I think this thing is for genius, it's for people who are like Albert Einstein kind of group. They are the one that can do this. So I was always running away. Even though I liked it, I was always running away from it because I felt like that wasn't for me. I was not smart. I felt I wasn't smart enough to take take up programming. It wasn't like this is I'm not trying to like maybe do some aspire to perspire kind of motivation, but this was me at that time. I thought it was so hard that I couldn't learn. And based on how they've taught us in school, they just made it look so hard. But once I started my service here, I was fortunate to, be with this guy, who kind of helped me, was my manager, and he helped me. And from there, I had a friend who knew about Andela, and then told me about Andela, and then that was how the journey started. And because I've been programming since 2010 and my third year, I knew that that was my goal. I like AI, I like robotics, so I knew that this was what I was going to go into. So after like my 4 years at Andela, I decided to go for my master's degree in AI and robotics. And now I'm trying to cut the long story short, but it may look so fanciful and so easy and just look like, it was just a smooth ride. But I can tell it wasn't a smooth ride. But now I've gone through all of those phases, and here I am. Although I don't do software development anymore, but I used to do it like before my master's degree at Andela. Now I'm more into like AI and robotics, but that's my journey. So let's get started. You want to go into software development. How do you start? First of all, I'd like to break software development down. I don't think anyone is here and they don't know about software development, so I'll skip definitions. But I would say when you're looking at software development, there are different aspects to it. You could be a mobile developer. Now, the mobile development has its own branches, but let's just say you could be a mobile developer. That is someone who develops just mobile apps. Or you could decide to be a front end developer or a back-end developer. Now, like these are three: mobile, front, and back-end. For the software development, you could decide to go into Android OS or what's that now? The Apple. I'm trying to like Android or iOS, yeah. iOS, which is for the Apple, like develop apps for that are just launched on Apple phones or launched on Android, Android based phones. Now that would determine that would depend because back in the day, most of the time, or let me just say, back in the day, it's either Swift is the language that was used for iOS, that is to develop mobile apps for iPhones, and then the Android was usually Java Android, right? But now I believe we now have cross-platform languages that are useful. Like you write just one piece of code, or just your code sits in just one place, and you can deploy that same code to either an iPhone or an Android. And I believe we have things like React Native or Flutter that are used in that aspect. So when you want to go into software development, you have to ask yourself, what part of it do you want to go into? Is it the mobile part? So when you pick the mobile, is it Android or is it Java? Is it Android or is it iOS? Like I said, now you can do both at the same time. You can decide to, you know, just learn like React Native, which is one of the language that you can use where you can deploy that same language to both platforms. Now there's the desktop application. This is where you see most of these are people who build applications for like banks, for example. That is, they sit on the machine. It's not something that you download from anywhere. You install it on the machine as there. This is where Oracle Java or comes in. So there is that aspect to, do you want to build desktop apps? And as I mentioned with the mobile app, I think there are also some languages that you use to build both Android, iPhone, and also the desktop app. I'm not able to know if I'm being heard because I don't know if I lost glory, and it's just
You're
hard
still
for
clear.
me to know.
Eh, I can hear you clearly. We can hear you clearly.
I want to just. Oh, okay,
Can you hear
okay,
me? We
thank
can
you.
hear you
Because
clearly.
I
Yeah.
couldn't see you, so I wasn't sure. Okay, okay, all right, thank you. I just want to be sure I'm not speaking. All right. So as I was saying, that's the mobile app part. Now we have the back end and the front end. Now I'm going to try and I think the mobile is very simple because I mean, YouTube is a mobile. Some of us have YouTube, for example, as a mobile app. So imagine like you are building an app for that platform. So the back end and the front end now differs. So I don't want to assume that everybody will know what backend. All right, thank you, just I don't want to assume everybody here know what backend or front end is. So let me just explain with a favorite app or an app that almost everybody in the world is using, Facebook. So when you go to Facebook, right? Let's say you are not logged in, you see a login page, right? You see a login page, and then you say an input space for you to put your username and then your password. Now, that is like the front end. That is what you see. That is what a user would see, right? But the front end developer has developed that interface because there needs to be something that makes you interact with the back end. Now, what is the back end? The back end is the person who would take, if you are signing in, for instance, the back end is the person who would take that username and that password that you have input, and then they check that it is correct from the system, so from the database. So database is like where, let's just call it where you store data of people. So they want to see, this, does this person already exist in our system, and is this password that they are giving us, is it their right password? Now that is what a backend, I mean, that is not just what a backend do, but I'm just using it to explain like how the backend and the front end work together for just a login authentication system. So the backend person will then cross check this information that you have put in, and they're like, oh, yeah, perfect. This person, the username is correct, they exist in our system, the password is also correct. Let's grant them entrance. Now, this is what the backend does. The backend tells the front end, yes, this person is good to go. And since they are good to go, let's direct them to their homepage. So that's, you are directed to the homepage. But who designs the homepage? Who let you see your other things that you see, like all the things you can click, accept your friend request, send a message, make a post, etc. etc. That is the front end. They show you the result of that successful authentication that you have made. If it failed, for instance, yeah, the back end will tell the person, this person is an hacker. Let's just chase him out or something. I'm just joking, but the person is saying, you know what, the password is wrong. So please tell the user that the password is wrong. This is the back end. The guy is just behind the scene. So the front end takes that information that he has gotten from the back end and tells you your username is wrong. So let's just say, so you may be wondering, is this UI UX? No, it's not UI UX. The person who just designed the interface, like just mock up, like it's like when they do, when you have a house and then they draw the house building for you, that the person would design, like, let the button be here, let the click like button be here, let the message link be here on this page. The person who does those interface, they are the UI UX people, but we are not talking about that. We are talking about software development. But the person who now brings that design to life and is able to communicate with what is going on the back end is the front end person. And the person who tries to make sure that when you accept your friend requests, for instance, that person remain your friends. When you go to your friends list, you still see the friends there. They store it in a place such that when the front end person say, give me the list of these friends, so I show it to them, they can say, this is the list, right? So that is the back end. Please allow me to take some water. So when you want to go into software development, you can see that it's not just, yeah, I just go straight. There are like different aspects of software development, and all of these people work together. The same backend person could be communicating with a mobile developer too. So your mobile developer will be giving you some things in the interface and all of that, but they could be collecting the information from the backend. Most of the time, they collect it from the backend and bring that information to the mobile app that they are developing for you. So when you say you want to go into software development, you need to know which one sounds, like what I would want. And I want to say it here that it's not always, there is no litmus test per se to say, yeah, go to front end, you is back end, you is the mobile. There is no litmus test for that. Sometimes it has to take some doing some trying out things like, okay, let me try out the front end. Oh, I don't think I like it. Let me try out the back end. I don't think I like it. Sometimes you have to get into it, try to learn it first. And thankfully, I always tell people that before you decide to go into buying for courses or paying for a boot camp or something, I always say your litmus test is usually when you can afford, when you can pay for a free, when you can take it free, like take a free course. What I mean by this is that if you're not sure, if you want to go in software development, for instance, you don't know if you're so, oh, I forgot. So there's the people who will call the full stack developer. Now, the full stack is a combination of the front end and the back end. That is someone who can do both front end and back end. So while I was at Andela, for instance, I was doing full stack. Although most of the time you will find out that with my experience in this field, you will find out that even when people say they are full stack developers, they usually have the the place that they are the strongest. So for someone like me, I am not strong at the front end. I don't really know design and all. I always struggle with HTML and CSS. But when it comes to the back end, yeah, that is where I that's like where I shine better. So even though they are full stack developer, I'm not saying there's no I mean, I've not seen a full stack developer that is like so hot at the front end and so super good at the back end. Yeah, they may be able to be, put things together like I did when I was at Andela. But I can tell you that like when you give me a back end task, I'm much more faster with it than when it's a front end task. So there is a full stack where you can learn both back end and and front end. And language. What languages do you need to learn? If you want to go to mobile, I've mentioned you can use React Native or you can check out Flutter. So when you learn with Flutter or React Native, for instance, you can be able to deploy that code to an Android app or an Android phone rather, or an iPhone, rather than, back in the days where there was no React Native, there was no Flutter, and all of these languages that have come up with for cross-platform applications. Back in the days, if you want to be a mobile developer, is either you're an Android person, you're writing Android Java for Android, or you're writing Swift for iOS. And I think there's also this other language now. I forgot the name for iPhone, but let's just leave languages for now. Like I said, the litmus test that you can use to know which one do I fit into better is to try and take an online course that is free. Don't go ahead to just see a course and then go and pay for it. I always tell newbies not to do this. It's a bad idea to do it when you're not sure that that is what you want. Unless you are absolutely sure that, you know what, no matter what, this is just what I want to do. Sometimes you may actually find out that you don't like it. You may find out that you don't like front end. You are better off at the back end. So I always say, go ahead first and take free courses in what you think you want to do. There are Udemy courses. With Coursera, you can apply for financial aid. I can tell you that all the course I've taken about 3 courses on Coursera and I've never paid for either of them. Yeah, because there are financial aids on all of those courses. And it's just, let me just tell you the tips. If you have a course on Coursera you want to take and you want them to give you free of charge, number one, tell if you're a student, yeah, feel free to tell them that you're a student, that you can't afford it. If you are working, I've gotten it while I was working before. Tell them that the exchange rate to Naira is too much for you to afford it. Like, let them know. So there are ways you can go about it that they give you the financial aid and you don't have to pay for the course. But try out free courses first. See how you are able to. So this is what free course help you to do. Because something that I found out with a lot of people who say, I want to get into tech, is that you give them resources, but they never make use of it. Like you tell them, do this, do this, do this, do that. Like go through this. And they are free courses, but they never finish it. So I would say that even before you go for a paid course, if you can bring yourself to be consistent and disciplined with a free course, how much more when you now start a paid course? So this was what I did when I was transitioning to machine learning. I first of all went through the Udacity machine learning free. So they have a free course on machine learning. So I took that and I built a routine with that free class. I think I was dedicating 3 hours per day to that class. and I did it for like a month or a month plus. So I built like that I built that like that consistency and discipline with the free course. So when it was time for me to do the nano degree, that was like 4 months. And if you don't finish it within 4 months, there's an amount you pay right after I don't know how they do it now, but this was like 2017. So by the time I paid for the paid course, like the one that you have to pay for, I had already built like a routine for me to, be disciplined with this online class that I'm taking. So by the time I paid, it was just easy for me to follow through. In fact, I think I finished at the third month instead of the fourth, like using the whole 4 month. I finished the whole thing by third month because of how I had built consistency with the free course. So I always say, if you cannot build consistency with free course, something that is free, don't go and waste your money, because some people may disagree with me and say it's when you pay that you can actually be disciplined. But I don't agree with that, because if you are not disciplined with something that is even free, don't think that is the paid one. You could actually start the paid one and still end up not, finishing it. So, Glory, please feel free to, you know, stop me if I need to be stopped. But I'm just looking at my notes. So, like I said, mobile or dev, the first thing you want to go is online. It's like very overwhelmed, but you can go to Udemy and Coursera and just try to take a basic introduction. If you are very, very new, take a basic introduction to React Native class or Flutter class. But before you do that, because I didn't do this assignment, I was supposed to do this before this call. Go online and check the top five it's very easy. The top five most, I would have done it now and even just told you, but let's just keep that. The top five most used programming languages for cross-platform applications. And by the time you read like 3 articles, you'll be able to know that, okay, this particular language is like what most people are using or most people are learning, or that is what is in demand to cross-platform applications development. So this is for people who want to go into mobile development. Now, if you want to do front end, for instance, I always say that for people who are starting Java, you can never go wrong with JavaScript. Java is different from JavaScript. You can never go wrong with JavaScript, and this is why I say so. JavaScript is one language that you can use as a front end and as a back end. We have many frameworks built in JavaScript for front end and many other frameworks built in Java. Maybe not many, but we have the Express.js and Node.js, for instance. So JavaScript is one language that you can't go wrong. Like if you I always say if you don't even know what to do, so let's say you don't want to do the litmus test, you don't know what to do, go and learn JavaScript. Try to build a small calculator, try to build a small project. It's like a minute project with JavaScript. From there, you can be able to tell, I think I'm loving this JavaScript. Okay, do I want to now branch into front end or back end? Why I would not say languages like go and learn Python is because Python is not a front end language. You can only use Python for back end development or for data science or robotics, as the case may be. Even Ruby, because I used to write Ruby in Andela, even Ruby is a back end language. But you see that JavaScript, you can use it. Is a if when you learn it, you can branch into front end, you can branch into back end. So you can always say you can't go wrong with JavaScript because of that. It has that, it's that very powerful. But when you learn like Python as your first language and you say you want to do front end, they are not related because Python is back end. Or you go and learn Java. Java cannot be used for front end. JavaScript is like that language that you cannot go wrong with. So let's say you don't even know what to do. You don't want to take the litmus test. Go take an introduction to JavaScript language. What are the frameworks of JavaScript used in front end? You have React, you have Vue.js, you have I don't even know if Angular. I'm sorry, I think I'm even archaic in this software development. I don't think Angular. I think Angular is even archaic, but I know that React.js and Vue.js, like in my company right now, our stack is actually the front end is actually built in Vue. So I know that React.js and Vue.js are languages of JavaScript, that frameworks of JavaScript that are used on the front end. You may be wondering, like, oh, I'm saying JavaScript, I'm saying React.js, Vue. What are those? JavaScript is a programming language. Now, when I say things like Vue.js or React.js is a framework of JavaScript. It means, so let's look at it this way. It's like I'm trying to see. I have this very stupid example. I hope it works. But let's say you have a glass cup of water. That's like JavaScript. And let's say I want to make that doesn't make any sense actually. Okay, let me try and explain it in the tech language. JavaScript is a normal programming language, but there are certain things that we want to do, in our software or when we are building apps that when we want to use JavaScript, it's just extremely difficult for us to do. That's one. Number two, it could also be that um, it's like maybe computational, like in terms of cost, it's like maybe slower or is not able to do that thing as efficient. So this is why the emergence of frameworks have come. So this is why we have React.js, Vue.js, Angular.js. These are like Angular JavaScript, React JavaScript, Vue JavaScript. Like I'm just shortening it to JS. JS just means JavaScript. And they are like frameworks built on top of this JavaScript language. And so I can tell you, don't start with the framework. Some people just jump into React.js. It won't make sense. It won't. It's like say you want to understand. How do I put it now? You want to understand how I don't know what I can use. You want to understand how tea is made without understanding like what water is. I don't know if it's stupid, but I hope this makes sense. It's like I want to understand how you make tea, but you don't want to know what water is. That is how it is when you just jump into React.js or you jump into Vue.js. People can come and tell you that, yeah, I started with React.js and I'm learning well, but I can tell you that there are loopholes that they would already find or they will be finding as they are trying to climb their career. So please learn JavaScript first and then you can look into React.js or Vue.js. So React.js, Vue.js are front end. Remember, I've explained front end. They are front end frameworks. How do you know which to pick? Should I go for React.js? Should I go for Vue.js? To be honest, that's a question I may not be able to answer. But an assignment that I like to do before I say go and do this, I like to find out what language is most used. There's this app, I forgot the name of the app. Oh my goodness. So there's this app that I used to check when you type in the URL of any website, it can actually tell you the framework that was used to build, like all the frameworks, all the stack, like if it was JavaScript, what kind of JavaScript framework it was, Python, is it Flask or Django, that kind of thing. It can tell you the language that was used. But I would say find at least 10 front-end developers, for example, in Nigeria, wherever you are. Let's just say in your vicinity, or yeah, I would say in your location, depending on if you want to work in your location or you're planning to move elsewhere. Try to find out what language are you using for your front end in your company. And from there, you'll be able to tell that, oh, it's like most people are actually using Vue.js. So that means there is a demand for more JS developers, or most people are using React.js. So that means that I can learn React. But I can tell you that I think React and Vue, they are like in the same, especially React, I think because React was developed by Facebook team actually. I think they've really, React have really stepped up. But I know that Vue.js is also trying to catch up with it. So there's really you can't I believe you can't go wrong if you decide to learn Vue.js or React.js, but learn JavaScript first because like I said, you can't know what the component of tea is if you have not understood what water is. And that's how it is if you just jump into the frameworks. Now that is the front end part. Part of the things you need to learn for front end, regardless of any of the framework, is HTML and CSS. And these are like DOM elements. These are the things that you use to beautify, like make this button red or make that blah blah red. So HTML and CSS is definitely needed for a front end developer, and then the JavaScript framework plus that. For a backend person, like I said, there are many, we have the Node.js, which is like the most popular backend JavaScript framework. And I've explained what the backend person does, so you can also start into it. But let's bring this together. If you want to be a full stack developer, for instance, the things that surround that, okay, the things I'm looking at the time, the things that really surrounds that is your HTML, CSS, your JavaScript, any of the framework you decide to pick, and then the backend. And we usually call this the main stack if you are using React. So it's Mongo, which is the database. So there's the database part that I didn't really explain because of time. But if you Google the main stack, which is Mongo, Express, React, and Node, these are like four components that make up who a full stack developer can be, or what a full stack developer needs to know. There is the other part where you can have Django, which is a framework of Python, and then your front end is normal HTML, CSS, and maybe a JavaScript framework. There is that. There is the Ruby on Rails, which can be used as backend, and then JavaScript is the front end. But what I want to highlight from this is, and why I was saying you can't go wrong with JavaScript, is that no matter what your backend stack is, either Ruby, Python, or whatever, you always need a front end to show that back end. And this is where JavaScript always shine. Like, you cannot do that front end without JavaScript. There's no front end without JavaScript. Let me put it that way. So you can always be sure that if you do JavaScript, because it's useful at the front end and at the back end, you cannot go wrong with it. It's a good choice to take. So because of time, tips for quick learning, I'm supposed to say that find a community of like-minded meetups. Look for look Go to LinkedIn, find people who are already in your roles, in the roles that you aspire to be. So I always give these tips to everyone. When you want to aspire to be a full stack developer or a this developer, go to LinkedIn, find like 20 people that probably didn't have. So these are for people who didn't maybe have a computer science background. Look for people like that don't have a computer science background. Go to their LinkedIn, find the courses they have taken, and try to note down the courses they have taken. By the time you do it for 20 people, you will definitely find clue, because success will always leave you clues. You will find like, oh, this person did this course. Oh, actually, five of these people actually did so course. So that guides you to know that, okay, I think if I take this course, I'm on the right path. So this is just a tip I give to everyone. When you want to be somewhere, go to LinkedIn, find people who are there, study their profile. Don't do it for just five people. Try to make it like at least 10 to 15 or 20. Draw up an Excel sheet, put their certifications, their courses, and everything they've done, put it in by their names, and just study it. From there, you will know what to do. You will know where you need to go, because this, you see what is common to these 20 people, because like I said, there's always clues that you see. Don't compare your learning rate with some. When I was learning, there were many people that were flying higher than me, and me, I was just being a slow snail, but I caught up eventually anyway. So try to know how you learn. Are you a visual learner? Are you Some people, they learn by videos, some people they learn by books. So know the one that works for you. Some people, they are they are indifferent. So don't compare your learning way, and don't compare how you learn to someone else. Just try to understand yourself, give yourself grace and time and patience, and if you can easily make a stone become soft. Um what else do I want to say? Look at, if you have a curriculum that you need to follow, or maybe an online class that is self-paced. It's not like you have to go to class, it's offline or something. If it's self-paced, try to divide the curriculum into schedules and create a schedule for yourself. Find people who are doing one-on-one mentoring. There are people who are doing that. Try to find it. Also try to find boot camps. I've seen that in Nigeria there's something that's coming up which I like. They have boot camps, and they have partnered with companies. So when you join their boot camp and you are part of their top 10 finalists or something, they will link you up with companies. Try to go for free internships. There's the Hotel Henry internship. Try to go for internships. Don't learn and think that, oh yeah, money starts coming. It doesn't work that way. You have to spend time and give yourself grace. And I've done many free jobs for people, so I can tell people this. In the bid of learning, there are many times that I've done free jobs for people, just because I build websites for people free of charge, because then I'll put it on my portfolio, and then now you cannot come and meet me and say I should do free job. It's not possible. I'll tell you that I've paid my dues in the past, so I've done what is needed to be done. So you cannot tell me to do free job. So at the early stage, please be humble. I'm not saying let people treat you like shit, but be humble and be open to learning and doing free just for people, because in there you also learn and grow. I know I've taken so
Okay.
much time, so let me just stop here. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much. You're actually short past time, but I had to let you just go on because you're really on streak and saying a whole lot. Thank you so much. You said a lot of things, and I really hope that people who are online, have been able to catch very very important points, and all that from what you've said. You talked about how you can choose to become a mobile developer, front end, back end. You can be full stack. You can also develop desktop applications. You talked about something you said, which I really found to be important, and I want to emphasize for those who are online is before you jump to pay for a course or pay for a boot camp or some other coding, school, start with the free courses. I got that clearly. Start with the free courses, right? And taking those free courses would let you know and understand yourself better. Am I for this? Can I really do this? And all of that. So now we'll be going to question and answer. And I think we'll take some really practical questions now. So guys in the audience, start to drop your questions. We have a few already. Start to drop your questions. Let's take them. Okay. So the first question we're looking at was not really a question. It was a comment put up by Unique JC when we began, and I could relate really much with it. So we all know that being a Nigerian and being in Nigeria is hard work, right? We all know that it is extreme hard work. Now, I know that you had your university education in the University of Ilorin, and you talk about the things that you were taught for Tran and all of those things in school, which are actually largely not relevant for, tech or software development today. And so the comment was, that we in Nigeria have data problems, internet and network problem, right? So that was a comment. And so I'm putting this across for the benefit of everybody online now. In Nigeria, there is data issues, there's internet issues, which varies based on your location. There is power issues, right? Now I know that you had your masters, outside the country and all that, so you've seen both systems, right? How can a Nigerian, right, in the system, of course, without means to live yet, how can you make the best use of what is available to still become very good?
That's really a very good question. Because right now I'm out of the country. Yes, that's okay. But I wouldn't say like I was part of the system until I left, and I was a software developer until I left in 2018. So I understand. I also have people who are closer to me that I kind of mentor, and they share these frustrations with me. But what I would say is that I know like the time, like let's look at electricity for instance. Like there is no lights, and these things you need to do depend on your. I mean, you need. Let's even leave internet aside. As with internet, we know we can buy it. It's just that they sip it with it's not even straw. Now they used to sip those internet. They sip it with something else, and it just finish fast. But let's even say you can afford internet. Now, the light thing is an issue in that instance. What I always tell people to go out, like to look out for, is coding boot camps. So I'm not trying to sell myself, or I mean, if I'm doing it, it's not wrong. If you follow me on Instagram at oluwayeti.ai, I share a lot of opportunities, and some of them would be that they will provide you the space. So I recently shared one that one of my mentee actually got into as for a data analyst position, right? And they have like a campus in Yaba, let me put it that way, and you can go there. So what may be the distance between you and that's what you want to do could be maybe your laptop. So I would say the first thing you even need to do is to try as much as you can invest in a laptop. To bust your bubble, I actually have a mentee that was running code on her phone. It's not even one, it's not two of them. So you can run code on your phone. Let me good if you can join this YouTube, you are ready. I can tell you, you are ready. You're actually ready. No, I'm serious. I this one is not this thing. I had two of them. that they started run when I started, giving them things to do. They were doing it on their phone. The Audacity course I told them to take, they did it on their phone. The code there are online IDs. So online IDs are places where you can write your code online. You don't need to download maybe Atom or Visual Studio Code or something, or Sublime. It's just online there. You put the code, you run it. They were doing it on their phone. But with progress, they've been able to, like, come out of that space of just their phone to afford a laptop, learn on their laptop, to even start getting jobs outside of the country. Like, this is not this is someone that give yourself time. Don't think that because I've said this thing, like, use your phone. After you use your phone for 3 months, you'll be like, they say I should use my phone for 3 months, but I've not even gotten laptop. I try, when I hear questions like this, I try not to give a one-way answer or one answer to it. And the reason is because I always find out that there is literally everybody may have an excuse to why they think. I mean, I'm not trying to say I don't relate to the Nigeria. I've been a part of the system, so please don't try to see this as I'm here and then I'm just saying what I like. But at least I can say that I've mentored people who have been in this situation, who started coding on their phone, and with time they actually got, maybe they went for this hackathon, or they put money here and there, they helped somebody to work on a project here and there, they just gathered money small small, and then they grew from that front to having a laptop and then still progressing. I always say that when you really want to do something, to be honest, you will always find a means around you to get to it. But let's put the aspire to perspire talk aside. Like I said on my Instagram, I share a lot of opportunities of boot camp. So this is what you need to look out for when you know that, oh, I don't have internet at home, I don't have data at home. Find boot camps where they provide you this free. There are many of them that are free. I'm telling you, if you come to my, I always share opportunities, like it's something that I always do. So for software, or for mostly usually for data analytics or data scientists, but even for software, I do share opportunities as well, where they are saying, come for our boot camp, they provide you a space, etc, and then you get it done. But let me tell you something, most of these boot camps, they also want somebody who is not giving them excuse of Nigeria, who is who they want you to tell them that you've used your phone. These are things that I know sometimes we like to glorify hardship in Nigeria, but they want you to tell them that, yes, I've used my phone to code. I don't even have laptop again, because most of them, they don't just want anybody that has not really proven that I've done something. They want to know that they will ask you questions like, okay, what have you done? You say you want to become a software developer. You are interested in our bootcamp, because they are, most of them, they offer you for free, right? So they'll ask, what have you done regards that? So you can't just say, I didn't have laptop, I didn't. By the time you say I have a phone and I've used my phone to, I mean, who will hear that and look at it like you're serious? It's not possible, right? So those are avenues you should look out for. I think Utiva recently even partnered with Covenant Capital, which is a church, it's TCN church, and they are like, Utiva. I'm sure we all know Utiva, but if you don't, Utiva is they teach people, to get into tech. Like, you pay, but this one they are even doing it for free, because I think the church is paying for it, and it's not limited to the church. Because at least I know someone who never went to the church, but they got the offer, right? So these are things you look at for boot camps that provide you this facility. There are a lot of them. I can tell you that. At least once a week you will see me share something related to that. So these are
Okay.
things you need to look out for. But start from your phone. If you can watch YouTube, you can code on your phone. Please start from it.
Okay, awesome. I like that. And guys, I just to emphasize some of what she said, guys. Things might be hard, things might be crazy, but try and ensure you don't settle for the excuses. That's all she's saying, Sunway. How do you show that you're not settling for the excuses? Look out for opportunities. Look out for boot camps. Like she said, some might be free and some might be paid, right? That mentality of not wanting to pay or sacrifice to grow, has to actually end, basically, because there's nobody who got to the heights that you envy that did not have to sacrifice something. So look up opportunities. If it's only your phone you have for now, start out there, right? Start out there while you work on the plan to actually get in a laptop or get out of the environment where you're in, where all those constraints are. Really, really awesome. Now we will begin to take questions from the audience, but before that, I have a quick question. and I have to start putting time on the answer. So I'm just going to say in like 1 to 2 minutes, um, how what words do you have for somebody who feels discouraged? Now, when you were talking about front end languages, I like how you emphasize that um, everyone should start from JavaScript first, right? Because HTML, is sort of pretty easy. CSS is sort of, sort of pretty easy as well. But I've met a lot of developers or aspiring developers who learned HTML and then learned CSS, and then when they hit JavaScript, they hit a brick wall because they were like, okay, this whole thing looks very strange, right? So what word of encouragement do you have for people who are stuck, who are discouraged, or who have the feeling like they cannot do this?
I'm tempted to go very spiritual and say that's a lie from the pit of hell. But yeah, don't let me go spiritual because I was there, guys. I was there. One thing that I didn't mention, I know you said 1 to 2 minutes, but if anybody wants to go, let them go. On the stream, you are going to, are they going to pursue
No, no,
us?
no, 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 no,
If
no.
anybody wants to go, let them go. I'm sorry to say this, but please stay, please stay. I've been there, so I can relate to that, being discouraged, being whatever. When I mentioned earlier that I it wasn't a smooth journey. Indeed, it wasn't. At Handela, I was actually, there was a time I was put on probation that I was almost let go.
Wow.
Like, when I say let go, sacked. Let go is a two word. Sacked, like chased. Let me use chased away, but sent away because I wasn't catching up. It was like the code was not just. It was just like it was not entering my brain. Everything was, it was entering and coming out the other side. It felt like coding was a wall that was not breakable for me. It felt like it was not possible. Like there was no way. But I spent. Let me tell you what I did. I had to sit down. I had to look for the things that motivate me. So what I found out was that I was reliant on people motivating me, cheering me up. Go, you can do this. But at that time, nothing everybody was saying was making sense. It was me that was responsible to motivate myself at that point. And I had to ask myself, why am I doing this? Why tech? Tech is, I can say, it's highly rewarding. You get to a time you start getting your money, cool cash, buy Banana Island house, etc. But if you are just doing it because of the money, you'll be frustrated. And I think that's where I found most people, because it's the buzzword. So everybody just wants to, you'll be frustrated because there are days, even they are not paying you. But even my job right now, there are days I'm working on weekends to meet up deadlines. There are days that sometimes I just want to go into my bedroom and cry because it's like the world is crashing down. So find out why this? Why am I doing this exactly? Even if it is for the money. So as you're thinking about this, you're thinking about, I want to buy house in Banana Island. I want to enter first class tickets. I want, just if it is money that is even motivating you, let's say it's money, right? Try to think of the things that you would love to see yourself do, or where you want to see yourself go, in a way that it makes sense for you to get out of that discouragement. And it could also be that you are just burning out. Maybe you're just spending so much time on this and you just need 1 week break, just 1 week break and fresh hair from things. Like, right, that could also happen. It could be that. But I would say, in summary, don't ever, if there is anything you want to take away from this session, don't ever think that coding is something that you don't fit into. I tell you with all of my heart, like, don't ever think that I can't do it. Like, I can't, it's a lie. I'm telling you, I know people try to make it look like smart people. It's a lie. Serious. Even if you feel like the dumbest person, it's a lie. You can learn it. You just, maybe the smartest person is spending 1 hour and you need to spend 10 hours. So that was what I found out with myself. Now I spend less time on things, right? But there was a time I would spend 10 hours on what somebody else would use 30 minutes for. So don't try to look at what others are doing or try to feel like I can't learn this thing. Take a break. Try to find a mentor. You don't even need a one-on-one mentor. Try to find somebody on LinkedIn that has you can just reach out to them, send the code to them, the place that the line, send screenshots. Please, I need help. This code is not running. I used to do that back in the days. Like then there was no even screenshot. I will send the code by email to a friend and say it's breaking our line 106. This is the error. Please, what's happening there? So I tried to find what motivated me was that I am very, so I'll just say one of the things that motivates me is I like to see the things that are being used by people. I am a creator. I like to create things, and then what gives me joy is not the money that they have really paid me for that thing. That's why I said it's beyond money, is that somebody is using me. I created this thing, somebody is using it. Like that gives me so much joy. So try to find those things that motivate you. Connect yourself with like-minded people as well. There's Dev Center Square. I don't know if you know about it, but it's a community for Nigerian developers. I'm actually still there, but I don't know how active it is. It's over 10,000 people there, and they have like channels, different channels for different. You can connect them. Facing this issue, please help me. So that's what you should do. Don't Yeah, I know, like I just need to say, I know that in Nigeria, oh my goodness, it's a chaos with getting people encouraged. But please don't give up. Please don't give up. Anything, don't give up. I'm begging, I'm literally begging right now. Please don't give up. You can send me a DM on IG if you think you're like, just I'll pump energy into you.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much. I could feel the emotions in that. I knew that that came from your heart, right? So, guys, you've heard, do not give up, right? Okay. So at this point, before we quickly get to the next other questions, we should get your social media handles for guys to reach out to you. There's been a couple questions. So Leye first asked, can you mentor some of us? And then he says, I'm already learning JavaScript already. Somebody else says, it's been difficult to get a mentor as a web developer and all that. They mostly claim to have no time and all that. Before we come to the mentorship question, on Instagram, you are at oluwayeti.ai, right?
I see it on the what's that thing? Yeah, but that's correct.
Okay. So it's going to be put up on the screen. So guys, after this session, go follow her on Instagram. I could do that right now. No, don't leave the session. After the session, at Oluwayeti. Is it Yeti? That's it's going to be put up. Is it YE?
Is Y
double YE double TY?
Y? Yeah.
Okay, it's on the screen already. Okay.
Yeah,
So
Oluwayeti.ai.
Oluwayeti.ai.
It's on the screen. Yeah.
Okay, I didn't say it. And then on Twitter, the same thing.
Don't follow me on Twitter. I'm not active there.
Okay, guys. So go follow up on Instagram, and then like you said, you can shoot her a DM. Okay, so real quick, can you answer the question in just 1 minute? Are you taking mentors? If yes, how can persons apply?
Am I taking mentees? I actually closed down my mentorship page because yeah, so the thing is I don't longer mentor people with software development thingy. Like and it's because I'm like you hear me say that I'm not even sure if people are still using Angular, because I'm kind of out of that space. I'm more into the AI and robotics space. So if it's software development, I feel like I may not be the best person for the job because I'm really out of touch with that part in terms of like practical coding. So it might be hard for me but still reach out. Sometimes I have software developer friends, a lot of them, and I've actually pushed mentees to them, like, you must mentor this person. So you can start and shoot me a DM. I'll go and disturb some of them tonight based on the numbers I get and try and force mentees on them. But let me just say something. I won't just take anybody and say, yeah, come and be a mentee. I don't do that, because you must prove that if I tell you to do this, you will do it. Or if your mentor tell you to do that, you do. Sometimes you don't even need mentors, but sometimes you do need it. But you must also be ready to put in the work. So yeah, let me just put that out.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. So guys, go to our DM and go to Instagram and shoot a DM, right? And like you said, be ready to put in the work. Basically, now we have a quick question. So let's just breeze through all the questions from the audience. So there's a question from Jessam. He says, So say I want to learn to be a software developer. I don't know what field, I'm going to be in yet. Where do I start my learning from? That's a good question. So I have no idea if I want to be front end, back end, mobile, or desktop, but I want to begin something. Can you point me to that baby step I can start taking?
Yeah. I quickly want to go to that Cecilia because in Introduction to JavaScript, go to Code Academy and take the Introduction to JavaScript course. Let me see if I can quickly find it.
Okay.
But go to Code Academy, actually, Code Academy. They have a JavaScript course. Take it first.
Is it free course? Is it free course?
It's a free course, yeah. Learn
Okay.
JavaScript. That's the name of the course. Learn JavaScript. Take that first. It's the time to complete it is 20 hours, so you can do that within a week. Start from there. If you see that you like it, you love it, like it's going good. Next thing is take the HTML and CSS, and after that, then you can. I don't know how I can put it. You know what? I'll put up. I would activate the mentorship group tonight. So
Okay.
if you've done it, if this person take the course, take the HTML and CSS course on Code Academy, the person can reach out to me. And of course, I'll ask
Oh,
you for receipts that you finished it.
okay, guys, I like that. Right. So now this is actually a way to screen out those who are ready to put in work. So for
You have
guys
1 week
online,
though. The person has
uh,
1 week.
1 week.
Yes.
Okay, guys, the challenge is up. If you don't know where to start from, but you want to become a developer, right? Go to Code Academy and take the free course called Introduction to JavaScript.
It's
That's an
called Learn
instruction.
JavaScript. Learn
Okay,
JavaScript.
learn JavaScript, and it's a 20-hour course. Take the course, finish it basically. So let me encourage you. When you're starting the course, you can let her know. She's not going to bite you. Just shoot I DM. I'm starting the course and all that, and then finish up as fast as you can within a week, and then reach out to her, and then you have a shot at mentorship. Now to the next question. Okay, the next question is about internship. Okay, I'll talk about that. So the final question for tonight's session, we have to start wrapping up, but beyond time already, is which of the software packages is simple and easy to learn? That's so it's like a more, where is there anyone that is the easiest? So I'll just jump in there and go and learn. So what
Is
do
that
you have to
like
say about that?
so when they say software packages, that's like when you say I'm not sure if I understand the question.
Like okay, I guess like maybe front end, back end, mobile, or like desktop. Which of this
None.
is easy to learn? Okay, no.
None.
Great answer.
Yeah. I don't want to bobo you. None.
Okay.
They are the same
That's very
level. Yeah.
okay. Okay, guys. We are starting to wound up. Actually, we've come to the end of tonight's session. It's been so amazing. It's been so amazing. Thank you so much, Yetunde, for this. I like how you were honest. I like how there are even times where your emotions can speak, but then it just shows your honesty and how much this was from your heart. Thank you for the words of counsel. Guys, you know what we like to do. If this session has been impactful to you, drop the fire emoji, right? Drop the fire emoji. You know how we like to do it in Getting Tech. Drop the fire emoji. Let us see that. For those who talked about internship, there's somebody who made a comment. How I have been trying to get internship for back-end development. I announced in the group that I was going to be announcing an internship opportunity, right? So a company called there's an internship basically, Makers Innovation Lab, MIL, Makers Innovation Lab, basically are calling for applications for internship. Makers Innovation Lab, right? And so the link has been put up on the screen. Just write that down or save that somewhere on your phone. That is a link to apply for internship at a Makers Innovation Lab, basically. Whether you're front end or you're back end, it's actually a Google form. You're going to fill it, and then afterwards, if you qualify, you're going to be gotten back. So this is for those who are on this session and are, who want to get internship, basically as developers. That is the link. Just save that and write it somewhere. And after this session, go shoot them a message. So guys, we've come to the end of tonight's session, and honestly, it's been really fantastic. I can only see three people dropping the fire emojis. That's not enough for me. I want to see more fire emojis. If the session has been very impactful, drop that in the comments. Thank you so much, Yetunde, for this session. I know you are extremely busy. Thank you for honoring Getting Tech and for joining coming on stage for this. In 30 seconds, any final words for the aspiring developers on this session? Any final words? Basically just that's it.
My final words is not, it can't go around for everyone.
Okay.
But maybe I'm a bit biased. The guys should forgive me because we need more women in this field. But I just want to say to the women, not like I have anything against the guys, but this is just what comes to my head, or always comes to my head when they ask me for a final word. And it is that do not let your skills, do not let your gender speak louder than your skills. So let me just reverse. Let your skills speak louder than your gender. Yeah. For the guys, just let your skills speak.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Yetunde, for tonight's session. It's been beautiful. Thank you so much. Thank you guys for joining in. Those that stayed, joined from the beginning and stayed on to the end, and just that, joined later on. Thank you so much. Do not forget that this is the 7th out of 12th session in the Get Into Tech program, right? Next week, Friday, we are continuing on. We're marching on to the next session, and that is on mobile app development, right? If you were listening to Yetunde, to talk about one of the fields you can specialize in is mobile app development, right? So we're going to go in depth into that. We're going to treat that as a special field next week, Friday, same time, 7 p.m. till 8 p.m. Though we passed the time for tonight. So guys, thank you so much for joining us. I'm going to be seeing you next week, Friday, same time. Bye.